Welcome. I guess I should actually tweet that reminder. So let me pull up Twitter and do that. But welcome to anybody who already set the reminder or to anybody who just happened to be here because they happen to be here. And this is a thing that is live. I guess I should grab that link again. But welcome. I'm going to be reading With Prejudice, which is technically not on my TBR, but I was going to read this a couple weeks ago before I got the arc of Heart of the Sun Warrior. And so now feels as good a time as any to actually go ahead and pick this up. So I have the audio from one of my libraries, and I will be listening to that during our sprints today. I don't know how long we're going to go. I figured that these might go longer than my normal sprints just because it's the middle of the day. And I'm not going to be half asleep by the time we're done here or whatever. So we might go a little bit longer than I usually go. So that means we might do like 6 sprints instead of my usual 4. We might do 8 sprints. It really just depends on who's here, what the people are feeling, how people are going. Obviously, because it is the middle of the day and it's a Thursday, I don't assume that there will be a ton of people here, and I don't assume that people are going to be reading the whole time. They might have like other things in their lives they need to do, so that'll also be a factor. You're going to be working during the sprint slots to get through to see exactly people got lives. You're going to try and finish like 4 manga volumes before you have to return to the library. Sounds. Oh, I love to sleep in a sea of star. I just told everybody I'm going to be reading With Prejudice, which I just found out was written by a black man. I didn't realize that when I requested this book. And then I was putting the cover back on, and it's a whole black man that wrote this book. So I am supporting my Afro Latinx brethren with his little bookie book. Okay. So still trying to craft this tweet. What are you going to be reading, Miss Busy? What are you reading on this fine day? I'm still taking a break from your little TBR that chose violence because it chose violence. It gave me back to back 1 stars. I still have one of them checked out, and I don't feel like it's gonna take me long to get through this book. Um, I listened to the 30 seconds at the beginning, and this man was reading this book very slowly, so I think I'll be increasing how fast I'm listening. But that's just me. Other people might find this man reads really, really quickly. I don't know. Also, the narrator of this book sounds like a white man, which does have me feeling some kind of way. But hello, welcome to you. Reading the arc for Love Times Infinity. You need okay, see, I should be reading that book. Should be reading Love Times Infinity. Definitely should do that. Am I going to do that? No, not today. Not today. Not me. Because I will be reading this book instead. And then I also have another like mystery, thrillery, detective-y crime fiction book that's written by a black person that I might read in conjunction. But I don't have an audiobook for that. So we might not do that. You just started Half-Life of Valerie K. It's a new release. I've never heard of this. So you know what we're gonna do. You guys already know we're going to my good friend's Goodreads. Oh, I have a friend request. I need to address that. So let's see here. Half-Life of Valerie K. Can't spell apparently, even though I'm looking right at it. We're going to remove that so I can share this little. We can read it together. Let me make sure we got me over here in the corner. First off, we'll enlarge the cover. This is fine. It's giving like Soviet, it's giving communist, it's giving 1980s. We'll see if that is addressed in the actual synopsis. From the author of okay, I've never even heard of this person, so they have 2 whole books. Interesting. An epic Cold War novel set in a mysterious town in Soviet Russia. Okay, well, you're getting Soviet from the font, so typography is important. It's 1963 in Siberian Gulag. Okay, not the Gulag. Former nuclear specialist Valerie K has mastered what it takes to survive, the right connections to the guard. Okay, it's giving sad. Access to food and cigarettes, the right pair of warm boots, the right attitude, the small pleasure of life so he won't go insane. But on one ordinary day, all that changes. His university mentor steps in. Okay. Okay. Interesting. In City 40, oh, that's ugly. Valerie is a doctor once again. He's expected to serve out his prison term studying the effects of radiation on local animals. Why is there radiation? Okay. Based on real events and told with the okay. 384 pages. That feels like the kind of a story that should at least be 450. What are the reviews? Let's see. 3 stars, 5 stars, 4 stars, 5, 5, 4, 5, 4. Okay, people liked it. Ooh, 2. Somebody didn't like it. Ooh, another 2. Ooh, another 2. More 2s. I think I just based on the synopsis and the page count, I don't know if I could give this more than 3 stars. It sounds like you're doing a lot in under 400 pages. But ooh, what's this cover? Maybe this cover looks better. Let's see. Oh, no, this cover is uglier. I'm assuming there's a dead bird because there's radiation in animals, but we could have just removed this bird. It's pulling focus. Like when you look at this cover, your eyes go straight to this dead bird. Um, which is why I'm sure that this other alternate cover, I'm assuming, doesn't have a dead bird. It just has the trees and the Soviet font. Anyway, y'all didn't ask me for all of that. Let's go back to me. We'll do the first sprint. Yeah, that's how you say that word. At 10, so in 3 minutes. Hello, everyone. You're reading Second Chance on Cypress Lane by Reese Ryan. Is Reese Ryan somebody that somebody else is reading before? Let me see here. Oh no, nobody was reading this. Nobody was reading this other this author before. Okay. It looks cute. Looks very, beachy, kind of fun, summery. Currently babysitting your nephew and you'll be doing some journaling, getting ready for work. Sounds productive to me. Okay, so we got Soviets, we got fun little beachy reads. You're going to be reading the second book in the Masquerade series, The Monster. There's a sequel? No way there's a sequel. There's a sequel. I'm gagged. There's a third one. Yeah, you have the dead bird cover, but it's an ebook. So that's fair. At least it's an ebook. I didn't know. I've never read this. I've only seen Aaron DNF it, and I know Tammy likes the first one, but I didn't know there was a sequel and there's a third book. And according to Goodreads, there's going to be another one. There's going to be 4 books in this series. That sounds unnecessary. That is not what I expected at all. So the more you know. You're going to be reading something like Love by Christina C. Jones. I mean, Aaron's in the chat. Feel free to tell the people. Feel free to tell the people. I mean, I didn't read it. I think Aaron DNF'd it. Maybe she just didn't like it, but I'm pretty sure she DNF'd. You think it's so good? I haven't read it. I have no plans to read it. I'm good. I'm really over fantasy explorations of like imperialism and colonization and just like following an accountant for that's all I got from that synopsis from everyone who's read it. And apparently it's very dry writing. Only thing I don't even like my toast dry, so it's definitely gonna be a no for me, but it is 10, so I'm gonna pull up our little Pomo kitty, and we're gonna do our little 25-minute sprinty sprint, and then we'll come back together. Welcome back, readers. I listened to 9%, and at like two and a half speed, I did not get very far into this book. Um, I'm on page 27. I don't like that. So for the next sprint, I definitely think I'm gonna pick this up physically because otherwise it's gonna be not a fun time. Also, like this book was doing things where we would be what felt like in the middle of the scene, and then we would totally be following something else. Like the book opens with the jury deliberating, and then like halfway through that chapter, we were in a traffic stop. And I was like, no, why are we in a traffic stop? We were just deliberating. So hate that for me. So definitely won't be listening to the audiobook going forward. I'm sure if I was at work or something and I was like out and about, I could do it, but I'm just sat here. So 27 pages. That's like barely a page a minute. Yeah, that's embarrassing. I don't like that. Not anything, against the slow readers of the world, but not a fan time. Not the meow scaring. Well, now everyone knows that it's gonna do that. You reached page 160 of the picture of Dorian Gray. You made yourself some copy. I just combined those two words. You read a chapter and you made yourself some coffee. 4%. Revising your resume, and the meow made your cat jump. Yours too. Well, now hopefully all the cats are. You read at 3 times my speed. Stop growing. Like, here's the thing. Like, I nothing against the slow readers of the world. Slow readers of the world unite. Um, but for 25 minutes, I'm used to making progress. Like my goal is like 2 pages a minute. It's very unofficial. Sometimes it's more than that, sometimes it's less than that. For a book like this, it shouldn't take. I mean, obviously, if you're like reading it at like audiobook speed, you have to read it slowly and slowly. You have to read it at a normal pace, so that when you do speed it up or you slow it down for the people of the world, it's fine. But this book is, I think it's a 10-hour audiobook, and it's 313 pages. For reference, I want to say The Way of Kings is like a 20-hour audiobook, and it's almost 3 times the length. So it feels very slow, and it's not doing anything for me. Um, so I'm gonna go back to reading with my eyeballs. You read 9 pages, started chapter 3, waiting for the plot to pick up. You are reading. You told us you're reading Love Times Infinity. Ooh, not for. Oh, that's not boding well. You failed to get your nephew to eat lunch, and you made him a sandwich and some chips while you were doing dishes. His dog ate half his sandwich, and he just ate chips. Wow, wow. You hate to see it. Enjoying your read fully. Finally getting to the heart of the second chance storyline. You love to see it. Stopping in on your lunch. Hello, hi, welcome. I'll probably do the next sprint at 45 just because I feel like 1 minute warning when it's like really a 30-second warning is not substantial enough. So as for what With Prejudice is about, like I said, the book opens and then we get a chapter from the prosecutor where we kind of like learn what this case is about. And the man in this case, is his name on the dust jacket somewhere? Because I've already forgotten. Let's see here. Those are the jurors. That's the prosecutor. Where is this man? Oh, Gabriel. Yeah, okay. So Gabriel has been accused of killing this little girl, Melina. I say little girl. I don't really know how old she was. She might have been 20 something, but Gabriel is accused of killing her. And the book opens, with the jury deliberating. So we know the trial has happened. And then we flash back to the prosecutor giving her little, I don't know, her little friend, the new prosecutor in the office, some tips and tricks of the trade. But we also discover that Gabriel has like a stash of gay porn on his computer. Um, and so the girlies at the prosecutor's office are big mad about this because he is being accused. He is being accused of raping and murdering this girl and like burning her body and burning his bed sheets to hide the evidence. And they're like, well, there's gay porn that just sunk our case. And I'm just like, I feel I feel like we could, if you're gonna be a prosecutor and you are going to, live your life prosecuting people, you got to have a little more faith, like you gotta you gotta really stand by this idea that you can save the day, I guess, for the state, and you can, do what you need to do. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just looking for some optimism for these people. But they didn't have no optimism in this chapter. And then the next chapter, we are following this like this raggedy defense man. I say raggedy. He's not the little, I feel, the stereotype in this sort of genre where it's like this down on his luck, he ain't never done nothing. He is a constant failure. Oh, woe is me, humble defense attorney. He is very much just like a raggedy man. And he's like strolling into the jail, all kinds of happy to hear that his client is gay. And Gabriel is like, I'm not though. And so it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know where this book is gonna go. I don't know what kind of journey I'm about to be sent on, but we out here. I am not participating in Summerween. I know I don't watch Gabby Reads, and I really don't watch Olivia Reads a Latte, but love that for them. Love that for the culture. You finished some reports. You love to see it. Will you be reading? I just read. What was that? Last week, I read it. Hated it. Gave it 1 star. Worst book of the year. Was it the worst book of the year? Because right before that, I read Wall of Storms. Wall of Storms, definitely a contender. But yes, I have read You Made a Fool of Death, and that book made a fool of me, made a fool of y'all. I can't believe y'all were hyping this book up. That book is raggedy. It's not good. It's barely a romance. It barely qualifies as a romance. So hate that for the culture. Hate that for the people. But if you got enjoyment out of that book, congratulations. I probably in December. So like right now I am on track to finish my unofficial official Goodreads goal. In November I'll be finishing my little 102 books of the year early. And so my goal in December is to just like reread favorites and like maybe not even do a whole lot of reading. I might do I'm not gonna do no vlogmas because I love myself, but I might make more content in December just because I will be done with like a bunch of the new stuff. And so far, this is like number 53. I think I've read like over 50 new releases so far this year. A lot of my reading this year has been 2020 releases, 2022 releases. And so at the end of the year, in like the December time, I kind of do want to do a video where I tier rank the 2022 releases that I've read, just because I've read some real raggedy bullshit that y'all had me out here believing was going to be good. Like, can't believe it. Listen, Erin is upset because I know she's big mad that I'm reading. I know she commented earlier like, oh, haha, that I was reading with prejudice because this is not one of the books that she selected for me to read in the month of July. But the first book she made me read was a 1-star book, and then the second book I read for that was a 1-star book. And so I just need a break. I need a break from the grasp of her choosing my reading, just because it was raggedy back to back, raggedy back to back to back. Hated to see it, hated that for the culture, hated it for me. But I don't know why Erin wanted me to read You Made a Fool of Death because last year her favorite romance was People We Meet on Vacation. It was like her favorite book of the year. I read it earlier this year. I also gave it 1 star. You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty is her new favorite romance of the year. Or I think in the romance video where she read it with those other books that she also some of those she DNF'd, I think she talked about how like she doesn't read it kind of as a romance, just as like a contemporary with a heavy focus on the so in that aspect, okay, sure, it's a little bit better, but the book's still bad. Like it it's very surface level for Akweke and Mezi who like came out on the scene and everyone talks about how they're like really, deep and purposeful with their writing. It just felt very shallow. It was very shallow and the romance did not slap. Like it don't slap when you introduce a love interest 50% into a book and you barely spend any time with them and you want to have these characters acting there. It was childish, but it's past 45, it's 46. So hate that for me, hate that for y'all. I'm gonna pull up our little kitty. The kitty will meow when we are done. So maybe I don't know, mute it when you see it's down to a minute and when the kitty goes away. Yeah. Part of part of me wanted to like film standalone reviews for those two raggedy books, but I'm gonna give if I get another 1 star and this Aaron chooses my TBR, I'm just the reactions are done. We're over it. I've already scrapped vlogging because I couldn't vlog when I was hating everything. Um, so whenever I sit down to rank those, it'll be a fun time, I guess. Oh, I think you saved yourself. I think you saved yourself. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stay in the good place. Stay in the good place. I don't know when that video is going to happen because some of the books she has chosen for this TBR, there are several month holds. So we're gonna wait and see. But yeah, I'm actually gonna start the timer now though. I'm actually gonna do it. We're actually gonna get back to the reading. Welcome back, readers. I'm now on page 82. I guess we can get rid of this thing. I'm on page 82, and there have been some developments, and things are interesting. Things are doing the thing. Yeah, I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying this. Is it a new favorite? Is it 5 stars? No, but I like what we're doing. Like what we're doing here. I'm having a wonderful little time. Actually, saying this is a wonderful little time is probably not the best, given this. I will say that if you don't really want to read scenes in a courtroom, don't pick it up. If you don't like, if you are wanting something like fast paced and twisty, this is not the book for you. Definitely not there. Um, but if you're just wanting a little slow time with prejudice, could be your little bookie book. We'll do the next sprint at 20. So a little 5 to the 5 little minute warning there. Hello, Pat. You're reading Can't Resist Her by Kiana Alexander. Heat sizzles between the two, inclusive romance. Please tell me that is not the name of the whole book. Let me just go to Goodreads. Because I understand that uh okay. I know that sometimes the Kindle Unlimited girlies, they be throwing everything in the title of the book. So when you pull it up on Amazon, it'll be like Twilight. Okay, maybe not Twilight. Let's go with like White Walls, a white love jock sports romance between age gap billionaires. And it's like, I guess if you need the Amazon to pull up your book, that's one way to go about it. But this is a cute little cover. I actually don't know if Kiana Alexander is even um independently published, but it appears that that is the case. And this is a good cover. This is a good cover. I like this cover. Okay, one second. Maybe it's not. Maybe sometimes the indie girlies. I can't tell. I can't tell if this is okay. I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole, but it looks cute. The cover is cute. Um Love it for the girlies. I guess I can share that screen. Let me stop sharing the timer and share the little this moment. But yes, see, it's a cute moment. This is a cute moment. More book covers. If this is independent, should be like this. This is cute. This is cute. We got the people. We have a nice readable font. We have an author name. It's very I like it here. This is a goal. These people of color look like actual humans and not like a late 2000s dress up game. I love to see it. Let's see here. You still jumped. The cats meow woke up your cats. That happened during the last one, so I can't say I'm surprised, but welcome, Gavin. Read 6 pages and you made dinner. Sounds very productive. At some point, I'm going to need to make something to eat. Haven't decided when that's going to be. You had lunch and you read one chapter to sleep. I really love this book. So hopefully you're having a good time. I prefer the Google beeps, but we're out here like the rest of the girlies with the little kitty cat noises. Hello, welcome. Feel free to let us know what you're going to. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead, but let us know what you're reading. You read 13 pages, also eating lunch. I haven't eaten, so I should. My plan was to last night I picked up something to eat because I knew I wasn't gonna have to go to work today for my dinner, and then I just ate all of it. And I said, "Oh, it'll be fine." Um, and then now I'm waiting to make something to eat today, so that'll be fun. Okay, yeah, we got it. You're late, but hello. You're not too bad. We've done 2 sprints, but I might be here for longer than 4 sprints, so you're what I don't know. I don't know why Can't Resist Her has a 2.9 rating. There are a lot of people who saying that they DNF'd. Um, so a couple of these like 2-star reviews are saying that they DNF'd. The dialogue is clunky to some people, characters are falling flat. Um, yeah, a lot of these that I'm seeing are like maximum 4 stars, and then a lot of people who just DNF the book, who stopped reading at 10%. The cover is gorgeous, but unfortunately, the cover is the best thing about the book. I don't know. Um, okay, it's provided by Montlake, so it is independently published. I mean, Montlake is, like, owned by Amazon. I don't really know if it counts as being independent, but it's independent. I guess it's like a small press, I guess, at the very least. Can't Resist Her. Well, I don't know if you can be small and you guys know what I'm trying to say here. But yeah, most of these people did not like this book. I will say that a lot of these people who are giving it, maybe I shouldn't be assuming people with ethnicity based on their profile picture, but it is a lot of palms. It is a lot of printer paper. People who look a little more melanated are giving it sometimes a 4. I personally won't be reading it to find out. But it looks cute. It looks cute. It's set in the South. She's a teacher, and there's like an architect, a teacher architect romance. That sounds like a fun time. I'm not mad about it. I'm happy that the cover does too, but knowing that it's from Montlake makes a lot more sense because what is the other book that they were really pushing from them? The other Bennett women by somebody. I think it's like Eden is the author's first name. That has a stunning cover, but that book was also just kind of average. So currently reading Cleopatra and Frankenstein. You're in your lit fic era. Love that for you. I could never be in a lit fic era. I don't think. You just finished chapter 3. The only thing happened is that Mitchie found out the guy she met at her job is going to her school, and she confirmed that she has terrible taste in food. I think that it's like I said, the people who look like they are a little bit melanated seem to be enjoying it a little bit more than the printer paper. But what do I know? Because I haven't read it and I probably won't read it. But it looks good. It looks like if you're looking for a fun sapphic book, pick it up. If you want Teacher Architect, could be worth your time. You like it at sci-fi that's done really well. Yes, it really is. I loved it. I don't know if you're reading it physically or the audio. Apparently the physical has like illustrations and shit. I didn't realize that because I listened to the whole thing on audio, but stunning, stunning book. It is 20 though. So it's time for me to bring back the little timer and we're going to do another little reading moment or however you're being productive. I know that the thumbnail says reading, but like however you need to be productive, do that. We're going to do it for 25 minutes and then we'll come back together. Welcome back. Our next sprint will be at 55 ish, allegedly conspiracy. I am now on page 138. So almost halfway, a little bit. Mm, Maybe not a little bit, but we're making progress. Definitely more. I guess I can return that audiobook because I'm not gonna. I mean, it wasn't in high demand. It was immediately available, but we're gonna return it early just because I'm obviously not going to use it. And it feels silly to keep that checked out just in case somebody else wants that. You're listening. Yes, the narrator is Chef's Kiss. I did eventually. Where is it? Of course, I have all kinds of junk in front of it. Like I own a finished copy because I liked it. Oh, it's all kinds of dust on it. That's another reason I really don't need to own physical books because, like, I read it, I liked it, but there's dust on it. Like, it's not, it's not getting any more use out of me. But loved it. It was a great time for sure. Currently working, but you're reading The Stand by Stephen King. Ooh, a chunky one. You took a break and listened to more of Lake Lore. Now you're at 12%. You're on page 44 in the middle of chapter 5. Everybody's making progress. You love to see it. Ooh, excuse me. You read 30 pages and will probably finish this one today. You love to see. I really want to finish this during the sprint because this is the only time today that I'm going to be reading. I think in 2 more I can get this done. This book is is this actually less than 300 pages? It's not. It ends on page 309. So I think I could do it. I think with like 3 sprints, this book will be done, which is kind of the goal. Managed to page 190 of Dorian Gray. Again, you love to see it. Love it for the culture. Congratulations. This book is, when was it? I think in like June, towards the beginning of the month, maybe even. No, it was. It was around the time that I read. Um, I have my Goodreads app. I can just pull it up. It was like convenient, not convenient. It was a counterfeit. I don't know where I got convenient from. And there was another book that I had the same sort of like vibes with. Of course, there we go. It's book one. It was at the beginning of the month. Goodreads is so slow. So yeah, I was like counterfeit, and just by looking at him, kind of, and a little bit of cover story, and kind of Vladimir. This is more along like the Vladimir levels. This book feels a little bit like we're in the wrong medium. It feels a little bit like this book format is not working because so we're at this trial for part of the book, but then we're getting like these asides to the kind of the backstory of some of the jurors and the backstory to some of the uh, what are the witnesses? That's the word I was looking for. This is why you're supposed to eat before you try having coherent thoughts. And so some of the asides work, and I feel like all of them add like context to the narrative to make this, I guess, like more deep and not just very like surface level. But I don't know if it's working as a book the same way I can picture how you would do this in like the TV show, in the movie. I see the vision that Robin is going for. I see what he is doing. I see what he was attempting to get through. But I don't think in a book this short we're really doing it. You know what I mean? Like it's just I want something more. I want some depth to this. I want some like I don't know. It's not really helping that there are very few descriptions. Like, that's kind of why I think this book is so short, is that it's very direct, very to the point, which I think opens up the possibility for the TV show. I mean, some of these characters are, it's I think everyone who you need where race is important, and it is tied into all aspects of the character. But I'm just kind of like, we could do something more here, Robin. It is a debut, I believe. What does it say here in this jacket? With striking originality and expert storytelling, Robin's debut novel explores the prejudice that hangs over every trial in America. It is giving that. You've never read a legal thriller quite like this, probably because I wouldn't call this a thriller. I I get that, like, everything has to be a thriller now. I was just like, last night, I read not last night, but last night I finished, and yesterday I started The Night Swim by Megan Golden, which is also pitched to people as a thriller, and it's not really a thriller. Like, for a thriller, I definitely think you have to have high suspense, you have to have twists and turns, and oftentimes an ending that doesn't really follow the logic of the rules that you've had the reader playing. Like, so many of the great thriller twists are subversions of everything that you've spent the entire runtime of the book hyping up. And I think that if your book is only good because for 300 pages you told me that in this universe water is black and air is chewable, and the twist is like actually air isn't chewable and water is green, you didn't write a good book. Like, you just told me a story and then said actually none of that shit matters. And so to some degree I feel like that has to happen in your thriller, and then there has to be at least 7 moments where you're like, actually water is purple, water is clementine colored, and now water is chewable and air is drinkable. Like, you have to do that 17 times and it's never any good, and it's not for me. Uh, oft- then you have like your mysteries, which is you get more clues. The clues will make sense, and there's going to be a breadcrumb of them. So if you choose to play Clue at home, you can say that it was, Scarlet in the conservatory with the letter opener. You love a good mystery. I feel like a mystery is better than thriller in like every way possible because you're not trying to pull bullshit out of thin air. And then you get like crime fiction where there's a crime that has occurred. Maybe you know a lot of the pieces, maybe you don't know any of the pieces. Maybe we're trying to discover what happened. Maybe we're just watching the crime unfold. There's like very broad. You get mysteries in crime fiction, you get thrillers in crime fiction. It's a wide array, it's a very broad category. Crime fiction, I find to be better. This, I would say, is crime fiction. And telling somebody that it's a thriller, I don't think it's going to do them any services because there aren't a lot of twists and turns in the first 130 pages, and there aren't a lot of breadcrumbs for you to follow. So there is no mystery aspect. We know who the suspect is, we know that he is currently on trial, and we see his defense being mounted against him, and we are following the lives of some of these jurors, the witness. Like, it's very broad. So I think calling this, oh, you've never read a legal thriller quite like this, is because it's not really a thriller. There's nothing thrilling about it. There's no suspense, there's no stakes. And also, we're not reading at 55 because I am not caught up on comments and I've been on my little soapbox. So hopefully by a clock, we'll be ready to do our next little sprinty sprint. Um, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I like it. I just don't know if this is the like the format for this particular story. Um, it feels very much like something HBO would pick up, Showtime, Stars, trying to give themselves some gravitas. But let's catch up. You DNF'd Dorian. I've never read Dorian Gray, but we have a DNF in the chat. You went to a writing essay for the summer class. Okay, look at that. You love productivity. You, just by looking him, is such a bad book. It's just a bad book. Not a good time. You DNF'd Dorian Gray, but you didn't DNF Dorian Gray, but it wasn't as good as his plays. Interesting. I've not read any of Oscar's stuff. It was boring to you. Maybe you'll try it again. If you DNF'd it once, I'd just say stay DNFing. This is your first Wild, but you're enjoying the writing. Not a 5-star though. It depends on the ending. Look. Like, that's really what like, thrillers will be like, "Okay, we're in a small town, and in this small town, there was a drug bust," which, okay, I'm in it, there's a drug bust, and Pretty Susie goes missing, and Pretty Susie is missing, and then at the end of the book, it'll be like, actually, Susie was never missing because Susie wasn't real, and Susie was actually this woman named Tabitha, and Tabitha was not from a small town. She just wrote a journal, and this journal is actually a letter, and the letter it's just fucking foolishness. It was foolishness. And it's just like, where was the enjoyment here? I do think that like books that Leanne Moriarty writes, like the quieter domestic thrillers, are oftentimes better because they're actual character studies, and so you get to be attached to these people. When you're just reading about Susie Homemaker, who has never once tried to like solve a crime, and now her best friend is missing, and she's going to be warrior detective woman. It's just like, okay, why? Or you're reading about an alcoholic who is like, I'm an alcoholic, but I'm going to get to the bottom of this murder that happened in my hometown that nobody else could solve. But it's why I'm an alcoholic and I got to get to the bottom of it. It's just like, this is stupid. Like, and then we find out that the alcoholic was actually never an alcoholic, and they were actually an FBI informant, and they've been working with the government. This whole it's just stupid. Like, I think that thriller writers be real like in a movie, like fun, fast paced shit, like it's fun. You know what I mean? Like, but when you are sitting down to give yourself over to a book for hours of your life, I think that there is we need to get we be losing the plot. The plot be getting lost in the thrillers. And I think that's why mysteries are just superior because the mystery it forces the author to give you a plot. Like it forces them to like, okay, yeah, these are the rules. This is what we're doing. Here are some clues. Here's a red herring. And maybe you'll get two or three. But a thriller wants you to have like 20 red herrings. It wants you to twist and turn so many times in the end of the book. And it's just like, this is stupid. And I think if we all just took a step back and look at the narrative presented in its entirety, it would be stupid. But then the people want to get on the internet and be like, yeah, this is a basic thing. I read White Cover by XX, and White Cover, it took me on such a roller coaster at the end of the book. White Cover, 5 out of 5 stars, mind blown, heart emoji, confetti emoji, heart emoji, sweating emoji, water drop emoji. And it's just like, girl, let's let's get back to the plot, please, please, please. While Justice Sleeps was a good time. I don't really have any interest in Stacey Abrams' like domestic romance suspense books, but when she writes another thriller, While Justice Sleeps was what made me think, you know what I really want? I need legal dramas. So that's why when Hachette was like, "Do you want this?" I was like, "Yes, I do. I want this." And I also have another one, Renegade by Nancy Allen, another crime legal thriller I'm looking forward to picking up. So it what really was horrible. Emotional and physical cheating. I never communicated with my partner, but it's still his fault. Wasn't being right. Exactly. It was stupid. It was so stupid. And then when he was getting jealous because his partner wanted to hook up with the sex worker, and it was like, sir, you've been using a sex worker and you were cheating and lying about it, and he's being open and honest with you. And then he gets like this happy ending. And I said, this is why I can't do lit fic. It was like, and it wasn't even good lit fic. It was like trying to be commercial and lit fic. It didn't work for me. Just the right, so I can't do thrillers. You don't pay attention to the details to understand mysteries. I like stuff like Dead to Me, where more details come to light over time. I mean, I don't write any books. I personally don't try and play detective. I'm not in a book trying to figure out who did what, where with what weaponry. I just want a good story, and I feel like mysteries give you a good story because I do think that the pieces of a mystery that I will remember when I look back, I'm like, yeah, you did tell me that, huh? You did tell me. You did tell me that that was going to be a thing that happened. You saw so many 5-star reviews and you thought Spelking was one of my favorite of the year. Yeah, it was a lie. It was a lie. I mean, to be fair, I was excited because I had already been a fan of Ryan O'Connell. So I reached out to Simon like months ago, and was like, "Hey, I want to read this book," and it was crickets, and I heard nobody promoting the book. And then when the book finally showed up on my doorstep, everybody and their mother was like, "This is a I've never heard of Ryan. This book is 5 out of 5 stars." And I'm like, if I just wanted to read this, I could just go. Like it was nothing special, and I was very disappointed. We're talking about why thrillers are ass. You tried reading a thriller like that, and you DNF the moment. You're like, oh, never mind. It wasn't actually this. It was that. Yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid. The romance had no plot. We're talking about thrillers in general. In general. But we're also, yeah, just by looking at him was ass. But in general, I don't know where you came in. If you came into the white cover, you know, stupid. Yes. Yes. I also felt that it was like the lesser version. I was like, sir, I've already seen your main character with cerebral palsy who was like sex positive and working through his body issues. Like, I've seen you do it. I've seen special. I know you could do it. You had an aha moment today. It's why thrillers a lot of horror don't work for me. Okay. Are you going to share that moment? Is the moment of vlog? Because we were also definitely supposed to read at a clock, but maybe oh 05. And we'll do a little bit of a longer one to make up for it because I've been talking for a little bit. So we'll do a 35 because I've pushed it back twice. Why didn't it change? Oh, set times. That's probably why. So we're in like 2 minutes, we'll go for a 35. Okay, it's in a vlog. And the vlog is this is like the second Summerween vlog. So that'll be what? Sunday we get the vlog, Saturday. The coho girly straight up go to Verity with Thriller, but I went on to TikTok today just to see what was happening, and I stumbled into the books I would like want to reread again for the first time, which I think is a cute little idea. And the number of time Colleen Hoover showed up, I said, "Let me get out of TikTok." It don't make no sense for you to be holding up every Colleen Hoover book in the backlist talking about books you would sell. You're selling yourself for Colleen Hoover. And I could get it if it was like one Colleen Hoover. It's like, okay, congratulate. I've never read The Lady, never read it. But I was like, okay, maybe sure. Because while I love Mary H.K. Choi, I wouldn't sell my soul to read every Mary H.K. Choi again. And I wouldn't even sell my soul to read every R.F. Kuang again. Like there are authors that I really like a book I really fucked with that I would want to read from them again. But their entire backlist, I said Sarah, Kaylee, Riley, whatever your name is, don't know you, but every little white girl I saw was trying to sell their soul to read another Colleen Hoover book. And I said, this is foolish. Miss Hoover really said Wattpad, like what is reminders of him? I don't know, but I do know that the girlies really love him. Reading Confess by Coho was a mistake. Mm, them souls worth clearly. My favorite was the one that said, they I think one of them was just like 3 books that everyone should read, and they held up Ends with Us, and they're like, "It made me look at relationships in a new light." And I said, "Ain't that about an abuser? Ain't that about an abusive relationship? And it ain't got no happy ever after. It's not even like a romance. It's just an abusive relationship." And I say, "Girls, it's time to run. It's time for you to run. You can't do you can or I don't know if this is a typo. I think it's I can't do Colleen Hoove because there's only so much you can take, and that is a mood. But I have put off this sprint for long enough. Put it off. You're convinced there are after the TikToks I saw today. Okay, reminders of him is shit. She really thought she was. Well, the girlies want to sell their soul. They want to sell their soul for it. But I put it off long enough. It's time to bring our little Pomo Kitty back. We're gonna get back into our productivity bag, and we'll check in 35. Well, welcome back. I'm now on page 218. So I was very productive. I think I have one more sprint in me before I'm going to have to go to the store and pick up something to eat. So the next sprint, which we will do at 50, unless we once again get sidetracked, will be our final sprint. So I am on track to finish this today. So you can look forward to my Goodreads review coming. I still think this would work better as like a limited engagement, 6 episodes, maybe 8, definitely no more than 10. It would give the book time to sort of like delve into all of these little sidewinding moments that it wants to do. Um, the book does feel a little insular in a way that I don't really know makes sense given the setting of this like I think it's actually set in Miami or it's set in South Florida somewhere. And so I feel like it definitely feels a little insular for my tastes. I don't know how Robin is gonna wrap everything up, but we're out here and I don't regret the time spent reading it. So that is a plus. I will take the win where I can get it. You're on page 55 and near the end of chapter 6. Let me scroll back up so I can refresh my mind as to what the people are reading. This isn't the most interesting part of the live. Did we just not know? Were we ever? Oh, you're reading Love Times Infinity. I remember. We're here. Okay, so almost through chapter 6. Love that for you. 25 pages left, finally. That, for me, sounds very doable in the next sprint because our last sprint will also probably be just another 35 minutes. Um, that feels like a very doable number to me. So I think you got this. Personally, whether or not you actually do, don't hold me, but it sounds very doable. Um, Still enjoying your book. The second chance storyline is digging into the angst in your living. You love to see it. Let me again scroll back up to remind myself of the people. Second chance on Cypress Lane with the Reese Ryan. That was giving me the summer vibes on the cover of that one. I don't know how I could forget something like that, but here we are where I have definitely forgotten. But yeah, so I'm happy that the second chance story. I don't think so, for me, nothing against this book. Um, I don't really know if I'm a second chance girly. For me, I think that like it gives a good story. Like I think it's cute sometimes, and depending on why they broke up the first time, like if y'all, mm, but sometimes it's kind of like if y'all couldn't. And I get the like you have there are seasons of your life where you are growing and you're finding out more about yourselves. But part of me is just like if y'all couldn't make this work the first time, y'all can get on the same page the first time you gonna really make me root for you because sometimes it's just like you really could have just given me two characters that didn't know each other. I think that's another thing that I like as much as I like friends to lovers or enemies to lovers. Strangers to lovers is right there. Like you could just have these two people who don't know each other just get to know each other. They don't have to be people who hate each other. They don't have to be people who have like a friendship. Sometimes I think like even just like an acquaintanceship to lovers, that could really be hitting. But and so like the second chance, the friends, the enemies, they kind of almost feel like crutches to give two characters a reason to like have a history together when just give me I ran into this person on the subway and their phone slipped into my bag and I had to like meet up with them to like get it back to them and they fall in love. Give me something ridiculous like that. If you're going to give me fake dating because Stanford wants to cut my money, like What? If you're giving me, "Oh, he called me ugly in 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 high school, and here we are, we're married now." If you wanna give me, "I agreed to go on vacation with this man, and now I'm his new stepmother," I think we can all buy into, "I lost my phone on the subway, and this is the person that brought it back to me, and we went out to dinner, and now we're dating," you know? I think sometimes, like, or at least in the romance that I be picking up, they focus so little on these 2 people actually getting to know one another and, like, being together because they were enemies or because they were friends or because they dated once before, and it's just like, "This is cute, but I want to see them get to know each other a little bit." Maybe that's why I like The Quarterback, because The Quarterback by Tal Bauer is, like, legit strangers to lovers. These were like these 2 men who didn't know each other. They did a semester abroad. Boom, in a relationship. You love to see it. Iconic. I'm unlocking things. And even those little Stonewall investigator romances by Mac Walker that I read last year, they were also, I think they were strangers to lovers. They were like, "Oh, you're investigating this case I brought to you." Boom, they fell in love. Maybe, maybe they had like other tropes, but like big picture, strangers to lover was definitely in the mix there, at least for The Quarterback. And kind of, I mean, the follow-up, The Jock, no, The Quarterback is the second one. The Jock was the first one. The Jock is one that's, like, the 2 boys who, like, did the semester abroad. The Quarterback was, like, falling in love with my best friend's dad. Now that was a dad romance, an age gap dad romance I can get behind. That's what I needed. That's what I needed. Well, I think that's actually a spoiler, so I can't even say, but that's what that book should have been. It is doable. You've got 7 pages left. Congratulations. Everyone is finishing things. Definite, you are second chance girly. Yeah, the reason for the reason why they broke up the first time is definitely make or break. Sometimes it's something stupid, and then I'm like, well, y'all should just not be together anyway, because clearly y'all couldn't even handle a minor inconvenience. And if it's a big thing, I guess it depends on why the big thing is no longer an issue for them. You're reading The Well of Ascension, book number 2 in the Mistborn trilogy. Love that for you. You love a good second chance romance where they're torn apart by circumstance. It provides good angst and encourages character development. Where The Rhythm Takes You by Sarah Dass is a good one. Um, I mean, I, I think that like all books should have good character development, and on like the second chance romance to me doesn't. It forces character development for sure because you're definitely going to have to like give me a reason why these 2 people who didn't work in the past are gonna work now. You're definitely gonna have to make me understand that one. Definitely going to. Um, but I think that any romance, you should be having these characters going from a place of wherever they were before to where they are now. I think my issue with it, specifically in Second Chance, is just like it just I don't care. Like I don't like y'all broke up. Why do I care about you getting back together? Like I would much rather these people just find new people. Like to me, listen, I don't think that well, one, the quarterback was definitely not as good as the jock. Um, yeah, the quarterback is not as good as the jock, and Tal Bauer is not writing high art. He's not writing high art, but I found it much better than a lot of the other male romances I had read before that. To be fair, I actively well, no, because I read what is it? I read Boyfriend Material, which is actually horrible, like, actually a horrible book, and to see it becoming popular again because there's a second book coming out is like, um, hated it. Um, and then what was it? The Annabeth Albert has one, or it's like convention themed. That was just bad. Like, it was just absolutely god awful. And so it was fine. It was fine for me. I enjoyed it. I had a good time, but it's definitely not high art. And it's not as good as the first book, but I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it in part because I wasn't expecting to see Taubauer come out with another sports romance again so soon. I didn't expect the jock to get a little follow-up moment, so that was nice. You found second chance books usually center on dating in high school and grow apart. They have some good life angst that can be put into the story. I guess, but I also really don't like I don't in YA, can forgive it because I'm like, well, y'all are still children. And so in 30 years, y'all are probably broken up and it's fine. But like when I'm reading an adult book about these two people who met and fell in love in high school and then they went off to college and then like they, went their separate ways, I'm like, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you are supposed to do. Like that's fine. Like the people who stay together after high school are the anomaly. But the romance books want you to believe that you should be marrying the person that you knew at 16. For what? Why are we all marrying our 16-year-old person? Like, that's weird. Y'all are weird. It's giving very heterosexual. And so it don't work for me personally. I think that in like movies and TV, it's fine. It's cute and I enjoy it. And even like I said in YA, it's cute and I like it. But seeing two grown people being like, oh, I'm brought back to town because my mother died, my grandmother died, somebody died, my sister's getting married, and she's getting married in the small town. And the carpenter for the wedding is my ex-boyfriend from when I was 16 and we're going to respark. Don't care about it. For me, in a movie, I would watch it. Do I want to read about it? Not really. The heterosexuals can get away with a lot in a television and in a movie that I will not read about in a book. Like you can give me the most basic plot in a movie and a TV show, and I will eat it up. I'll be like, yes, this is what I want. This is what I need. In a book, I'm just like, I want y'all to not be together. I want the person who's coming back to town for the wedding to find somebody new. Like, oh, this person just moved to town and I didn't grow up with this person, but they're making me fall in love with my hometown again because this person gets to see, my hometown through like these rose-colored glasses. They don't have the same baggage, and I'm falling in love with them. I'm falling in love with being home, and I'm gonna go marry the new owner of the pharmacy because he's like a pharmacist. I don't think there's any pharmacists in romance, but I think a little mom and pop pharmacy that could be cute. That could be a cute little moment. The hot pharmacist, he was like single. That could be a fun time, right? Give me that story, not oh my my carpenter, my high school boyfriend, the former, captain of the soccer team is now a carpenter and he's building this elaborate thing for my sister's dream wedding. I don't want that story. Don't want that story. Give me the pharmacist. The quarterback, I think it was cute. I think the jock is better, but the quarterback was a cute moment. I didn't like the quarterback. I mean, it was messy and toxic for no reason. Yes, I mean it's not healthy, but like I don't think you can do a age gap moment with your brother, like with your best friend's dad, and have it not be weird. You also have to accept that like I think I don't what's his name, Wes? Like Wes's mom being homophobic and like weirdly Christian was like pure plotty moment. It was giving very misogynist. I don't like that aspect of the series, which is why I gave it like 4 to 5 stars. Because it was very much painted like his mom was a homophobe just to like set up for his dad to have a moment in the future, which is weird. I didn't like it. It was giving, little woman bashing for like no reason. So like the book has its flaws. If I was the best friend, I would cut all ties. Sorry. I mean, I also listened to Boyfriend Material, but it was just bad. It wasn't a good book. I thought to me, my issues that I have with that book and the issues that I have with the Love Hypothesis are very similar, where it's like, I don't understand, like, the whole book revolves around this person whose job is like threatening him for being like not a good gay, and then the book just doesn't really want to deal with that. Like the man has a lawsuit on his hands and it's presented like, well, I guess I better find a boyfriend and like settle down and be one of the good gays so I don't get fired and lose my job. Like what? The book is bad. And then his love interest has like this unresolved eating disorder that gets introduced out of nowhere. And his parents are outwardly homophobic again out of nowhere. And there's only like 10% left in the book. And it's one perspective, which again, y'all know how I feel about single perspectives. You know, I don't like single perspective romances. I think that they're horrible. And so Alexis Hall, good for them. Love them, for getting their bag. This is a very popular book. They have an extensive backlist. Their other book that came out earlier this year, A Lady for a Duke, the girlies are eating it up. So like Alexis Hall has their audience, but that audience is not me. It's not me. It's never going to be me. Hate it for the culture. Character development should be a prerequisite. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. Maybe I just love flashbacks and characters being emo and pining. Maybe. Like, I'm happy that the girlies have second chance. I'm happy they have it. It's for them. If I hear a book a second chance, I just know to avoid it, and that's fine. I mean, I like a good Hallmark movie, but I'm not trying to read a Hallmark movie. I want to watch the Hallmark movie. In a world full of humans, do we really want to be with the same person forever? That's like eating peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I mean, I like monogamy. Like, you want to be monogamous, go for it. But I do want to, let's revisit. Why are we trying to be with a 16-year-old boyfriend and we're both 35 years old? Why are we doing that? Like, you guys broke up at the time that you were supposed to break up. You guys couldn't make it work because you were children. I don't think trying to make it work at 35, because and usually one of them is already, divorced, or their spouse died, so it's like you were able to move on. It feels it's giving Jennifer Lopez. It's giving Jennifer Lopez, and it's giving Ben Affleck. Y'all had whole lives. Why are we getting back together? Why are we getting married 20 years after you guys broke up? It's weird. It's giving weird. Jennifer, I understand, you like yourself a little stable relationship. She is a serious relationship woman. She don't do casual. But Ben, what are we doing? Ben had a whole like midlife crisis in the middle of COVID. Like, everyone was locked down. He was dating that little girl who was like, I don't actually know. Well, how old is Anna de Armas? Like 25? I don't know. But he was dating Anna de Armas for like 30 seconds. Now he's getting married to this woman he dated 20 years ago. It's not giving. It's not like, I'm happy for them because like y'all got married. That's what you wanted. But it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Your children weren't even at the y'all got married in Vegas. Y'all have children. You have children who were at your wedding. It's giving weird. It's giving weird. Dual POV romances are def better than single. They are. They just are. Se- Second chances will never work for me. There's like a reason. Exactly. Listen. Somebody has to say it. Anyway, I'm gonna take the advice. I'm gonna take the advice. I'm gonna bring back our friend the kitty. We're gonna get this live back on track. Okay, I'm gonna wait for like a couple of seconds here, in a minute, because it'll be a clock. It'll be a clock. We'll be at the top of the hour. We'll get to go into the fresh hour, being productive citizens, doing whatever it is we need to do. Could we focus again? Thank you. Doing whatever it is we need to do for the first 35 minutes of the new hour. Then we will wrap it up. Hopefully, people are finishing things. I know we have someone who's only like 25 pages. I think MJ only has like 7 pages. So whatever it is we need to be doing, I would like to be included in that number. I don't think I'm going to be able to read. It's like 90 some odd pages. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. But hopefully, I will make significant progress and be very close to the end. But there's like 5 seconds. I'm going to get ready. Hopefully, you guys are ready. And I'll see you 35. So I finished the book. Welcome back, readers. I thought this was going to go in, I don't know if it was like a bad direction, let's say, but I think that there were hints that could have had us go one way. And I would have been like, okay, well, your hints paid off. Congratulations. Um you did the thing, Robin. Um And then there was the real twist reveal moment, which I'm not going to spoil. Because even though do I think that this was a wholly original idea? No, don't think so. It definitely feels like something I have seen done. Could I name the moment, the TV show, the episode where this happened? Don't think I could. Don't think I could. But just because I had seen this done before, it didn't um it did not detract. It did not detract. I don't know if I'm just in my little bag, but this was 4 stars. I was having a good time from the beginning, and I am happy that I read this one physically. Something about the audiobook just wasn't doing it for me. The man was fine, but I think if I had listened to that audiobook, I would not have enjoyed it as much, just me personally, but it was a good time. It was a good little moment. I had a good time. I'm gonna give it 4 to 5 stars, maybe 4.5 on my like personal spreadsheet, but it was a good time. I enjoyed it. I recommend it. I think, yeah. Do There is an element like on the last page that I don't know if I needed. There's a couple of moments on the last page I don't know if I needed, but I'm gonna let Robin have his moment. As far as debut adult books go, it was a good time. Loved it. In terms of like where it's gonna fall on the ranking at the end of the year when I talk about all the 2022 releases, it's gonna be up there. It's definitely better than some other books I've read this year by a long shot. So happy that we got to the end of this little reading sprint with a good time, a happy time. But I'm definitely going to need to eat. I might, I might do what is not good. Probably, am I gonna do? No, probably not gonna come back tonight. But on Monday, I am off again, so I'll probably do some more daytime sprints on Monday because I will have nothing else to do. And yeah, let's see here. Let's catch up with the people. You read about a third of your manga volume. So did I. You also finished. 3 stars. Going to read and watch some reviews, understand why it's so loved. MJ also finished. Something like Love at the Top of the Sprint, and you started Ethic 6 by Ashley Antoinette on audio. I've never heard of Ethic 6. Just based on that title, I'm very nervous to look it up on Goodreads. Switch to Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Sweeney, and you're at 17%. You got some lunch. No, it is lunch for you. So you read Dragon Teeth by Michael Crichton. His books are so fun and interesting. It's a historical fiction thriller. I don't think I've heard of Dragon Teeth by Michael Crichton. Some of his other books I've seen, floating around, but never read that one. 100 pages. Oh, yeah. In December, I said that, but this was like almost 4 hours ago at this point. But I've read, I think this is like number 53, 2022 releases of the 80 books that I've read so far this year. The vast majority have been new release titles, which I don't think is normally the case for me. So in December, I want to sit down because by December, I just plan to be rereading things and like doing very casual reading. Um, Maybe I don't know what I'll be doing in December, but right now that's what my plan is. And so I want to do a tier ranking video of the 2022 releases that I've read. That'll just be the theme. It won't be every book that I've read, but because so many of them were new releases, it will be a lot of them. And even my unofficial official goal is 50, not wow, 50 is 102 just because that's what I've read for the past couple of years. The number itself might tick up because, like I said, December I want to reread, and I already have a couple of rereads from the beginning of the year. So it might be more than 102 just to like kind of balance it out and be like 102 new things to me. But yeah, so it'll still be the vast majority. Well, not, maybe not vast, but it will be the majority of books featured in that tier ranking video for sure. You're on page 70 in chapter 8, and you're going to do some work and try to get to chapter 14 later today. Fun times. Not the manifesting has been answered. You ate some ice cream and cake as you continued your book. It was a good time. Oh no, it was. So it is currently about to be 3 o'clock. So I'm going to eat. I might, depending on how I feel, come back and do some sprints later, but I can't guarantee that. Definitely can't guarantee that. What am I going to read next? I don't know. I should. Now that I've had a string of books that aren't on my TBR, I really should get back to some of the books that Aaron picked out. I also have like a whole from here over. So like there's 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 10 books over here that aren't on my TBR that I also have checked out from the library that I kind of want to read still. Um, so I might read one of those. I don't know though. A lot of these are probably gonna go back unread. I'll figure it out. Ethic 6 is book 7 in a series, and it's okay. It's a black romance independently published. Interesting. I've never heard of Ethic 6, so maybe I will look it up on Goodreads because I don't know what I was expecting, but that was not it. I have read Babel by R.F. Kuang, and I have filmed a reading vlog of me reading Babel by R.F. Kuang. I kind of get, I have to rewatch it. I will have to rewatch it just to like, because when I watched it the first time, I was like, oh yeah, I talk about kind of specifics. But the further I've gotten from it, and I'm trying, it's not out yet. It's still unlisted. So I filmed it and I edited it and I put it together. And I was gonna put it out on Patreon early for the patrons so they could like watch it. And then when I filmed this was in May. So we were so far away from that book coming out that it felt a little silly because I thought it was like the most spoiler. It was the most spoiler filled thing that I've ever filmed. And I think I went back a couple weeks ago to like watch it to kind of refresh my mind now that more people are reading it and like actively talking about it and putting up their logs just so I could, refresh my mind about like the events that happen. And maybe it's not the most spoiler filled thing in the known universe. Um, Maybe it's not. So after I rewatch it, it'll probably go up next week for patrons. And then the plan was always to put it out on August 1st, even though that book does not come out until like almost the last Tuesday of the month. I think it's out on the 23rd. So it'll be out on a Monday, the 1st of August, which is nice for me because that's a day that I like to upload content. So patrons will have it next week if it's not too spoilery. And then the 1st of August for the regular people, with obvious spoiler warnings, because even if I don't think it's the most spoilery thing in the known universe, I definitely talked about things that aren't necessarily on the blurb in somewhat specific fashions. And I haven't seen nobody have an issue with how that book ends. So I do think that I might be the lone horse. Might be the lone horse. And it's not that I hate how the book ends. I think it's fine. I think it take it back. I think I've seen people there's the thing that happens that I have seen people talk about that is reminiscent of other endings. That's all I'll say. That people don't seem to like here, but they also didn't like it in this other property. So I get it. But there's another aspect to how that book ends where I'm just like, do we have to do that though? Like do we need to do that, Rebecca? Like the optics to me are just like, I don't know. Don't know. On a totally different topic, my hair care is practically non-existent. I use shampoo and I have a little leave-in conditioner. That's about it. I don't have no hair oils, don't have no strict routine. It's I wash it once a week. I put conditioner in the hair, and that's about it. Why are you we read a whole book today. I slipped and fell and read a book today, but I'm actually about to head out because like I have been here for almost 4 hours. We did a lot of reading today. Maybe not a lot. I think it was only 5 sprints and not 4, but still a couple of those, like 3 of them were 2 or 3, I forget what is time. Were 35-minute sprints. So we've been doing the reading. People have been productive. A couple of other people also finished books they were reading. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna feed myself. Yeah, it was very. Look, the Ark gods said, "Here's the book," and I didn't question it. I said, "You know what? Thank you, Ark gods." Um, so yeah, May, and it was really good. And for a hot second, I didn't know how to read again because RF Kwong she really did the thing. But thank everyone for coming out to these little sprinty sprints. I will get the live for Monday some scheduled sometime today or this weekend, so you'll have plenty of time to set that notification, and it won't just be a spur of the moment thing. But if there are any spur of the moment sprints, make sure you have the bell notification clicked, so hopefully YouTube will send you something. But otherwise, I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my Thursday. I'm gonna hope the rest of you have a lovely Thursday, and I will see you again soon in another video. But until then, and until next time, bye.